Okay. This is probably a terrible decision, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I just realized my stream is up on my computer. Let's close that. There we go. Rewards are enabled on my channel. What? Okay, well, that's fine. Okay, we'll see how far I get. I think at the very least I want to try to finish this case because the blue badger must die. Okay. We are... Oh god, he's staring into my soul. For those not in the know, I had my 4th dentist appointment today. Dealing with my mouth situation, but it's on the mend. But still quite tender, so I will try my best. But if it gets to be too much, I'll end early. So we'll see what we can do here. March 13th, 3:45 p.m., Gatewater Land Main Gate. Where's the costume, Detective Gumshoe? Just at the other side of the fountain, sir. Is it your last one, at least? One might hope. Unless things continue to be in pain. Because I didn't even expect to have a 4th one, to be honest. But it wasn't healing up after my 3rd, so. But they did some stuff. They made the bite more aligned, so I'm hoping that'll be the end of it for at least a while. Okay. And hey, Bubbles. Was it out here in the open all along? No, it was discovered in the tall grass back there. We moved it out here in order to examine it more thoroughly. Then let's get down to it. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. It's hard because you'd be very distracted by all of this. Stop being in pain. That's a terrible idea. I will keep it in mind, Bubbles. But look at this. But... obviously. What is this? What do we have here? Oh, it's another pendant. That's 2 treasures in one day. How lucky is that? And hey, this pretty baby's made of platinum silver, too. Another pendant on top of the one we found on Mr. Deacon. The gasp. Who could that be? Is it possible that these two... is this Shilon? Hold it right there. Sure is. Shilang. My bad. Hands off, Prosecutor. You sure know how to cross a line, don't you? Pendant, huh? This is a very decisive piece of evidence. How can you tell? Look here and read what you see. Lauren! Hey! It's the name that's engraved on this. It says Lauren D on it. Gee, I wonder who that is. Oh, we have you now, Miss Kidnapper. No, you don't understand. Lolly, I can't believe you were one of my kidnappers. Lance. You're kidding. Miss Pops was one of the kidnappers? Yes. It was me. held Lance hostage? So, Miss Pops is one of the kidnappers. Not even knowing that, I can't call this case solved or over. Hey, guys, case closed. Get the car ready, and I mean the special one for this young lady.
Hold it!
Hey, again, Mr. Prosecutor? What is it this time? You know, Edgeworth, you being here is giving way more time for people to investigate these cases. Because I'm pretty sure usually Gumshoe just shows up and is like, you're the guy who did it, and takes them away, just like this guy's doing. But when Gumshoe does it, he does it. it's a just take it as fact. But when Lang does it, it's a problem. Are you proposing that Miss Pops is also the culprit in the murder case? What happened? I thought Officer Meekins was your suspect. We found it. Found what? That officer's gun. He literally dropped it in the middle of the thick patch of grass. Your country's police are a sham. Just look at how careless they are. Who are you calling a sham? The officer's gun didn't show any signs of having been fired, so it can't have been the murder weapon. So Officer Meekins has been cleared of all charges, I see. And that's where the brand new suspect comes walking onto the scene. The murder only happened because the kidnappers started fighting amongst themselves. As I recall, it was you who said that, right, Mr. Prosecutor? Miss Pops, did you really kill Mr. Deacon? Yes, I killed him. I can't believe it. Thanks for the confession.
Objection!
Agent Lang, it is much too early to declare this case closed. Look at you. You're so sure of yourself. We've got a culprit's own confession and some very incriminating evidence. What more could you ask for? Miss Lorne Pops. Yes? I want to hear it from you. Tell me your side of all that's happened today, from the kidnapping to the murder. But why? I'm the kidnapper and the killer. Isn't that enough? It's fine if you're the one behind everything, but only if that's the truth. Now then, will you tell us the truth? Or is there some reason you can't? Praise be to Bubblefish for posting this on Blue Sky almost arriving to the accusations. I probably should switch over to that. Hey, I've heard there's been a lot of shenanigans. I think I've even heard that Canada's going to be banning it soon. Due to, like, legalities behind it existing or something. Is Blue Sky good? Is it a serviceable equivalent? Well, obviously Twitter's kind of garbage, but you know. Oh, is this some reason you can't? So hi, Captain. I've had a change of heart. I think I'd enjoy seeing you skulk away after losing Mutt. Alright, you heard me. Let's hear about all the evil deeds you committed today. Miss Pop's confession. It like old Twitter. I mean, old Twitter was pretty decent. I remember it fondly. I don't know how much that's rose-tinted glasses, but you know. It's like Twitter, but it's not on fire, and it's not a complete trash heap. There's so many programs where I'd remember them back in the old days, quotation marks, put on my old lady glasses. Like, I still use Skype, and Discord, because it's just kind of how my groups work. But like Skype these days keep trying to add me to like crypto bro groups. And I'm like, why? I finally turned off the thing that lets them just randomly search me and add me to their groups, but it's like the days before Elon decided to join Organization 13 to ruin everything.
The one who came up with the kidnapping plan was the butler, Mr. Deacon. We knew that we couldn't get rich by holding Lance hostage. Mr. Amano would pay anything to get his son back, after all. Everything was going according to plan. But as soon as we got the money, Mr. Deacon turned on me and tried to kill me.
Do not cite deep magic to me. I remember AIM, ICQ, and MSN. I never used AIM, but I definitely used ICQ and MSN. Remember nudges on MSN? Yes. Remember having... I remember when I had my MSN handle, and it would be, like, lyrics to the edgiest, like, emo song that was out at the time. And then it would have, like, a bunch of emoticons in it, too. And you're just like, I don't know what any of this says anymore. There, are you satisfied? She just confessed to her crimes a second time. At least you have the guts to admit what you've done. I can at least respect that much. I modded it to remove the cooldown nudge, 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 nudge. Unlimited nudges.
Miss Pops, is what you said really the truth? Yes, it is.
If that's the truth, it certainly isn't the whole truth. Because there's something that seems a bit too improbable in her confession. The kidnapping plan was the butler.
Hold it!
How well did you know the victim?
I've spoken with him only a few times, Miss, at Lance's house.
A few times. Is that it?
Yes.
If they've only met a few times, I don't see how they could have trusted each other.
But if you hardly ever talked, then how could he trust you not to steal his plan?
That's completely irrelevant. He was planning to betray her from the very beginning. Which is why he chose someone he wasn't especially close to. Isn't that right, Sheena?
Yes.
However, Mr. Deacon made a very poor choice. In the end, he was killed by one he intended to betray himself. Ha! I bet he didn't see that one coming. I remember being so passive-aggressive with my screen names, with or without song lyrics. I think my first MSN account was like Sora Gal, which was purely because I was into Digimon and Sora was my favorite character. And I don't know, I thought it was cool because Sora meant sky in Japanese, and I was just like, I'm so cool. Rich by holding them hostage. You knew? How did you know something like that?
Oh no, what should I do?
Okay, what's wrong with her?
Come on, isn't it obvious? You're making your scary face again, that's why. Why don't you try asking her a nicer, more gentle way? No, stop it, Laura. You're always like this. You always fall for the stern-looking one. That's why you'll always be unhappy. Or maybe that's it. She's been bewitched by your icy glare.
Mind your own business, Kay. Now, then, Miss Pops, let's continue with your testimony. Like having non-monetized customization in Messenger. Still use my first account. Being able to upload use emotes, including animated ones without subscription. It's pretty nice. So Gatewater is the international pun franchise hotel. Hey Donnie. I won't post it as part of the secret pack name of the flesh self. That's fair, Bubbles. You must always keep those secret flesh packs. Ugh. I hate that I just said that.
Oh, yes, of course. And Mr. Amano would pay anything to get his son back after all.
Hold it!
Why did you believe that?
Anyone who knows Mr. Amano would think that the same.
I bet Lance is that old man's greatest treasure. I suppose he would be to a doting father like Mr. Amano.
I always figured that was it too. I was always so envious of Lance for it. Oh, because your dad's... I got this pendant from my father. And I believe that as long as I have this, I'll find my father again someday. He'll welcome me into his arms, riding on the back of a Pegasus.
That pendant. She must truly believe it to be the wings of a Pegasus. I didn't even say flashback. Well, no, it did. It was my bad. I rewired the secret pack name of the flesh self and made it that way. My flesh self name. It's no secret, but very few people actually use it. I mean, I feel like more and more that's common these days, right? Like, it's no secret, like, people address me on stream all the time that my name is Katie, but, like, I don't care one way or the other. And, like, I even know some of your flesh names, whatever you want to call them. That was terrible. I would stop using that word. I know a lot of your real names, but, you know... Some of you, like, I think I've only called Bubbles all my life, and I've known him for a long time, so. Alright. That's the person I found. Some people are more recognized by real names, some by techno names. Yeah. When the wrong one is used, it really feels weird. I'm fine with both, but I think at this point, most, if not everyone, you just use my real name. Or a nickname if they do call me something else, but... I feel like I've used your real name, but only in the sense of, like, I know it. Not in, like, this is what I call you way. Because it does feel weird. Please stop saying that. You sound like the 19th century occultist. I will try to restrain from that being a thing. That's why I'm saying it. You've always wanted to be a 19th century occultist, Captain.
Hold it!
Would you mind telling us a little about the plan itself?
Well, first we captured Lance.
Oh, how'd you do that?
Well, Mr. Deacon did that on his own, so I don't quite know.
Huh. Here I thought you knew how to steal people away. I shudder to think what she would do with such knowledge. I could probably pull it off. Fair enough. I could imagine that.
Sorry, I don't really know, but somehow Mr. Deacon was able to contain him. All we had to do after that was wait for the ransom to be paid, but... Mr. Deacon turned on me and tried to kill me.
Hold it!
Why do you think he did?
I have no idea, but maybe he had planned on doing so from the very beginning. Miss Pops.
Oh, that was more of a
Miss Pops.
wait. Mr. Deacon planned on killing Miss Pops from the very beginning. Was that ever really likely to happen? What should I do? Should I raise an objection? Yes. I'm sorry, but I don't think that's what you just claimed is all that likely.
Huh?
I don't think Mr. Deacon would have ever been capable of killing you.
But why? We were total strangers. It's not uncommon for people to kill each other that...
Miss Pops, you really are clueless, aren't you?
What do you mean?
You never knew what your role in the kidnapping was, nor do you know who you really are. But I do, and I can show you with this piece of evidence. This proves that Mr. Deacon wouldn't have been able to bring himself to kill Miss Pops. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Does this prove it? Like, it does have his name on the back, but that doesn't prove it. Aleister Crowley was technically around the 1800s, but didn't start being kooky until the 1900s. As a kid, he was some kind of chess prodigy. It's kind of weird because almost everyone in Zool Group goes by their real names more often than not. I mean, that wasn't always the case. I would say that, like, became the case because once you've known someone for that long, one of two things happens, right? Like, you either do devolve to real names or you are so stuck with the techno names that you can't not use it. So... But, like, for a long time, I definitely called Abby Dark Eye, but it was, you know. I still do. Oh, I didn't mean to click on this. I assume I'm just supposed to present this necklace. I'd never do something like that.
Take that!
Why are you showing this to me?
Oh, music change. Real name's easier for me. My handle's just a silly name that the classmate used to call me in high school. My oldest friends try to use my real name instead of the techno name. It was weird. We both agreed to never allow that to happen again. I'm not even sure I know what your real name is, Captain. I'm sure I've been told it before, but I just know you as Captain, so... But honestly, I usually just end up using whatever most people are, like, comfortable with, so... So what about the pendant? This horse pendant, along with this piece of evidence, shows who you really are. I have, like, a letter from that or something. Not that. This thing, right? This is wife and daughter. Unless they want me to show the pendant, but I assume this is what they want.
Take that!
Oh, maybe not. Okay, it is the pendant. What the heck? Of course not. I suppose not. Okay, well, game, I know what you're getting at. Okay, but if you put them together, obviously it's a Pegasus with the wings and the horse. That's a weird, like, combo necklace set, though.
Take that!
These two pendants resemble each other, wouldn't you agree? Hey, you're right. They're the same color, and they're even made of the same material. I believe that these two pendants are actually one. Shall we give it a try? Wow, it's totally a Pegasus.
But why? Why does my pendant match up with Mr. Deacon's?
You're a smart lady. I'm sure you can imagine why that might be.
No, that can't be.
So the two make a set. Heh, it's just another trinket. It's not as though this changes anything. You lack imagination, Agent Lang. Very well, I'll show you with evidence. This piece of evidence that gives meaning to the Pegasus pendant. Oh my god! So basically I just used them out of order is what you're telling me.
Take that!
It's not even like uncomfortable with Liam. It just feels out of place. Bubs is a time saver. A whole syllable. I get that. I mean, even Katie is technically short for my real name. My real name's Caitlin, but like nobody calls me that, so not even my parents. I'm just pleased when people don't assume Donnie is short for something. I also get super happy when people spell it right. That's fair. I mean, I had the privilege of seeing it written multiple times prior, so that helps. Oliver Deacon was just an alias for this man. His real name was Colin Devereux, the name that's etched on the horse pendant. What? An alias? I suppose he had to hide the fact that he was a felon somehow in order to live. And it makes sense given that it was written in Mr. Devereux's dossier. But what I really want to point out was this. This specific section is what reveals the true meaning. His daughter!
Take that!
Mr. Devereux had one daughter, and her name is Lauren Pops.
That's a lie. That person was not my father.
He couldn't come out and tell you he was your father because he was in hiding. However, I believe he was trying to secretly watch over you. Do you still believe that man like that could kill the daughter he was separated from? Or even that such a man would allow his daughter to get involved in a kidnapping plot? And what is so funny, Agent Lang? You're good at making things up in your head and deciding it's truth, aren't you? What are you trying to say? You thinking too much is much too innocent. After all, I've thought of another possibility. Is that so? Well, let's hear it. I don't get miffed if people spell with a Y or anything. It's just nice to see the IE procs. Fair enough. I mean, honestly, I feel that too, Donnie, as a person who is a Katie. Whatever it's spelled with a Y, I'm like, that's just not my name. It is definitely an IE. Another possibility. I'll grant you that the two of them are father and daughter. But isn't it possible that they both knew that fact? It's no coincidence their reunited pair became involved in the House of Amano, and the two of them made good use of their meetings to plan the little kidnapping. Would you say my scenario is perfectly probable as well? So, this is his version of how things might have been. You don't have any proof of that either one didn't know of the other's true relationship, right? You mean they knowingly committed the kidnapping as father and daughter? That's right. As one really rotten family. Is that really what happened? I'd better take a long, hard look at the evidence. I'm still hung up on that girl having a ring pop. Yeah, Lauren Pops.
Hold it!
Precisely. And what father would willingly kill his own daughter? I've seen a lot of things in my travels, and I can tell you that being related by blood is sometimes proof of nothing. I mean, that's fair. You can't just be like, oh, they're father and daughter. They would never kill each other. I'm like, I feel like a lot of domestic cases would argue otherwise, Edgeworth, but... The most unsanitary of candies.
Hold it!
You think they knew? Yeah, I don't think only the victim knew. I think the girl realized it as well. They both knew that the other person was, but they had to pretend that they didn't. Because he was on the lam. You got it. Victim couldn't exactly go around flaunt who he was. Furthermore, it was no coincidence the reunited pair became involved in the house of Amano.
Hold it!
One as a butler, and one as a friend of the sun, you mean? They probably thought that was their best shot. Is that what you honestly believe? Of course. Two of them make good use of their means, plan a little kidnapping.
Hold it!
You mean how they plotted to commit this crime as blood relatives? Can't you think of a better partner? They're certainly a clever pair. The butler and the girlfriend. No one would ever suspect they were in fact family. Yes, from the very beginning they painstakingly practiced those roles well. Would you say my scenario perfectly probable as well?
Hold it!
I believe you are being a bit overconfident for someone with no evidence. Am I? Because I don't see you presenting any evidence to the contrary. Without evidence, we're stuck in a stalemate. Agent Lang isn't wrong. His scenario is certainly a probable one. You better hurry up and do something, or Lauren's gonna wind up looking really bad. I know. But first things first. Is Agent Lang's line of logic factually correct? Did the two of them really knowingly commit the crime as father and daughter? Lang is just being contrarian because he wants to be the idea guy. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a contrarian on purpose. Like, obviously he seems to have some grudge against prosecutors. And I'll be honest, I don't fully remember as to why, other than maybe he just doesn't trust the law, but I'm sure there's more to it than that. I think isn't it possible that they both knew that after the fact? Is this where I gotta present something? Do anybody there that kind of works for this? I don't really fully know. Has yet to show up. This will come up when Chris does Trials and Tribulations someday, but it just makes me laugh. Possible they both knew that fact. I am not certain what they want me to present here. This might be just me being rusty because I don't really remember all the things. It's the guy who makes the Zoom meetings go too long because he's piggybacks off everyone's statements. He also probably has bad Wi-Fi, I'll be honest. Okay, let's go through these really quick. So that's just the map. That's about the badgers. That's about the badgers. Badger head. This is what badgers were missing. This is how he was killed. That's not gonna be it. We know that this has his name on the back, but that's not really... Okay. I feel like I read that already, but maybe I didn't, and I should have read it out. Ba-da-da. Penitent prison, stole a gun. Whereabouts are unknown. Well, let's just try this. And they'll be like, you're wrong. If you could take a look at this piece of evidence, you'd see that there's a very big flaw in your logic. Are you sure that's not your eyes that are flawed? Talk to me again when you can see straight. Maybe this wasn't the piece I was looking for after all. Maybe this is the one. It's no coincidence that they were reunited and became a pair at the house of Amano. Make good use of their meetings to plan this little kidnapping. Man, I don't know. You can't present... Like, the only thing that I have for this is the, like, the necklace, the dossier, and then obviously her necklace. Lauren D. She is a One Piece character, guys. I see that they wrote out her first name, but why just the D? Maybe it's the result of poor planning? I guess. Well, at least if I had to shorten my name, I could make it Kay Faraday. That way, even if you just sound it out, I'd still say my name, Kay Faraday. I suppose if I had to do the same, I would also be abbreviated to M. Edgeworth. Hold on! I think you should abbreviate it to M.E. and get it? Who would have thought this little pendant could stir up such a conversation? Dana's disprovable bullshit is airtight. Pendant in the shape of a pair of wings. It has a rather nice aesthetic to it. Hey, nice to see that even you can appreciate its beauty. Things made of silver tend to have a nice feeling about them, you know? I was only talking about the shape, Kay. Oh, is that what you were talking about? But, you know, if we're talking about wing shapes, I think the brooch on my scarf is way cooler. But that's not made of platinum silver, is it? It's handmade, okay? So I'm sorry it's not made of some expensive stuff. She's made that by herself? It's incredibly well crafted. Oh. Edgeworth approves of the craftsmanship. Okay. Is it because his name was Oliver Deacon? Is that why? I don't... Just don't tell her, Edgeworth. Keep that compliment as an aside for you and the audience. Okay, let's try something else. Is it possible that they knew... Okay. I'll grant you their father and daughter. That's not the sentence it's going to be on. Isn't it possible that they both knew that fact? So we're pretty sure that Lauren doesn't know that they are father and daughter. But I don't think I have anything that outright shows that to be the case. It was no coincidence they were united to become a pair involved with the Amano house. I have nothing to prove that one or the other. Two of them made good use of their meetings to plan the little kidnapping. I guess maybe it's just the necklace? Because it doesn't actually say the last name on it? I don't know. That seems sketchy at best.
Objection!
No, it's not. Okay. So bad, we need to repair your logic. It's a real deal here. Your courtroom mannerisms are worthless at the crime scene. You dare insult the courts! Oh no! Why am I so lost on this? Oh hey Chris! Strangle him with his own boa. I think that's like the lining of his jacket, but... Well, kind of. I know there's like a whole other investigation after this, but it's not like a super lot. What in doubt, go to the edit and see what Edgeworth says. I guess so. Well, he says I have to disprove, like, his scenario. He's not wrong. His scenario is certainly a probable one. Better hurry up and do something or Lauren's gonna wind up looking really bad. No, that is clearly a boa or something. I will continue listening in, but we'll be cooking for a bit. Ooh, updates on what you make and if it's yummy. Is Agent Lang's line of logic factually correct? Did the two of them really knowingly commit a crime that's father and daughter? No, they didn't. But I don't know what to do to present to you why that is not the case, sir. Let him cook. Japanese curry? I love Japanese curry. That's like one of my favorite dishes. Isn't it possible I don't know that fact? I've already pressed everything, yes. It's just I'll grant the two of them are father and daughter, but isn't it possible they both knew that after the fact? There's no coincidence they were a united pair, became involved in the House Amano. The two of them made a good use of their meetings to plan the little kidnapping. When you say my scenario, perfectly probable as well. And like, I'm pretty sure Lauren did not know that Oliver, Colin, whatever was her dad. I just don't have the hard. Yes, thank you, Curry is good. I believe I remember this. I mean, there's only so many things I can present, but I think it's also the matter of what to present it on. Because there's only like 2 to 3 things that are related to like their identity, so this isn't gonna be it. That's not helpful. This says Colin Deveray engraved on it. We've already shown that these two are together. But we need to show why they didn't know that they knew each other. Were they in costumes? Is that what they're trying to... Go to that dossier on Colin. Yes. He might have for his wife and sole daughter, but are desperate despite our surveillance. He has yet to show up. Which, this is the one I assumed it might be, but I probably am presenting it on the wrong statement. Is it this statement? Whereabouts are unknown. Well, no, that doesn't really... So I've already presented that on this statement, so I know that isn't the correct one. I mean, I guess I could just try it on a few statements and see what works.
Objection!
Was that one? I don't remember the specific Wabo combo. He's bad at me. Confidence is like a soul, and words without confidence are but an empty shell. Shouldn't waste your breath on words you have no confidence in, Prosecutor. Although it's just as bad as to say something full of confidence and be wrong. I'm sorry, I'm wrong. Okay. I don't need to be overflowing with self-confidence. I just need to think rationally. After all, I only need to be confident in the facts. You can always do my favorite Ace Attorney activity, spam shotgun evidence on statements. Okay. I don't think... It's extra frustrating when the game acts like it's super obvious that it isn't. I know, right? Make good use of their meetings. Wait, what meetings? Okay, let me press this again. I'm not gonna read it. I'm just gonna... Well, I'm gonna read it, but not out loud. butler and the girlfriend. No one would ever suspect that they were in fact family. No, that didn't really... Yeah, your scenario is perfectly probable, Lang, except it isn't, because I know it's not the end of this case. Okay, let me just look at all the evidence. This is, the badge is not relevant. This is not relevant. This is not relevant. This is not relevant. This isn't relevant. That's not relevant. This just says how he died and he was moved. That's not relevant to this. There's his necklace, but all his necklace shows is that his name's on the back, and we've already proven that they are father and daughter with the necklaces. You shut your whore mouth. The patch is always relevant. Guy Fieri and the jester hat isn't relevant. The blue badger mobile is not. This isn't relevant to them knowing each other. The victim was wearing a costume. Are we trying to imply that they were wearing costumes and they didn't know each other because of that? We know that Lance owes money to Tenderlender. This is... You're closer with that? Oh, is that what it is? They're wearing the costume? I swear, if this is gonna work. No, that didn't work. Okay, maybe it's on a different statement. Okay, I'm wrong. Yes, I understand. Please don't make me lose Lang. I'm on the right track. Isn't it possible they both knew that fact? No, they didn't because they were wearing costumes? Is that what I'm supposed to understand here?
Objection!
No. I'm just gonna lose the game. That's what I'm gonna figure out. Took 10 goddamn seconds for it to happen. Oh, wait. It's about the fact that there's supposed to be 3 of them, right? Because I know the solution to this case. But that's not really disproving any of the rest of these sentences. That feels so tangential. Oh, thank God. All right, whatever. Let's move on. I'm glad you came back from your driving school, Chris, because I've been here for hours. Okay. The kidnapping wasn't planned by just 2 people alone. And what kind of proof do you have of that? Quite simply, there are 3 kidnappers. 3? 4 costumes were stolen from the Wild Wild West area back room. We found one of them in the kidnapper's hideout. But as for the other 3, we can assume that they were being worn by 3 different people. We also found a set of 3 cups and 3 folding chairs that were used in the hideout. It's all clearly pointing to a 3-man group. And I believe that this 3rd person is the real mastermind behind the kidnappings. Miles, I have only begun to fight Edgeworth. I mean, I led you astray for a little, thinking there was something else. I mean, to be fair, you came in after I did the whole call-in dossier thing with the pendants, so that's probably what you were confusing it with. Who is this mastermind?
I'll present
What voice was that? I present you with the brains behind this kidnapping. Who could it be? Lance Amano! Yes, this abduction was in fact schemed by Lance himself. Recall that what he said when he appeared before us. Did you see their faces? No, I didn't see their faces. But who? One was a woman. However, there were 3 kidnappers, which is in direct contradiction to what he said. But, I know only I saw 2 people. This guy's being held hostage. Possible he couldn't see all 3 of them. Yes, about when you were being held. I have my doubts about what happened then. Lance, would you mind telling us what happened while you were being held captive? I really don't remember much anymore, honest. But if I don't tell you at least something, you won't believe me at all, will you? Lance's testimony. I was kidnapped yesterday morning. They had me shut in that room, blindfolded the entire time. But the kidnapper suddenly disappeared around the time I heard rain falling outside. My hands were cuffed, but it was a stroke of luck that they let me alone. I made my escape and ran away from that room as fast as I could. Through the underground passageway, I presume. Are you okay? Sorry, I really didn't want to recall that horrible ordeal, but now you believe me, right? No, not quite yet. How could you not? Why do you look at me with icy daggers in your eyes? Because he's a prosecutor. Because they're all like that. I'll have you know, Agent Lang, a prosecutor's eyes are for discerning the truth. And should they be interpreted to be cruel at times, then so be it. There's a sticking point to Lance's testimony. Let's see what he offers up when I push a little. These damn rich people. Yeah, if only Moriarty was here. All these contradictions are like extended steamed ham bits. I was kidnapped yesterday morning. Can you tell us about when you were abducted in a little more detail? It was a strange morning. I felt like I was right in the middle of the great calm. And where were you? When you experienced this calm? Oh, family garden, of course. Where else could it have been? Well, excuse me for asking. This child is more of a princess than a prince. I was out taking a walk to shake off the morning blah. Then, out of the blue, someone from behind clamps a hand over my mouth. You didn't see your attacker. They must have used some drug to knock me out. Because before I knew it, I was off in La La Land again. When I woke up, I was in the kidnapper's hideout, already all tied up. I'd be shut in the room blindfolded the entire time. I would be shocked if there isn't a Phoenix Wright version of steamed hams. By that room, you mean the room in the kidnapper's hideout, correct? Yes, but I was blindfolded that whole time, so I didn't know that until I made my escape. And then you were in the same room as your kidnappers. They spoke in hushed tones, but I could catch bits of their conversation. It was definitely 2 people, and one of them was definitely a woman. I was so scared. I could tell they were nearby, so I didn't dare make a move. They suddenly disappeared. Around the time the rain started falling. The kidnappers disappeared. The room fell into a sudden silence. I had been left behind like an unwanted mutt. And what do you mean by unwanted mutt? All dogs are precious.
What a pointless question. It's not like he's gonna tell you anything new, you know.
It's a poetic simile. You should learn how to use them, too. You may look refined on the outside, but it's no good if you're not refined on the inside as well. Excuse you, princess. Ninja Maya, please work with Miles a bit here. Less sass, more assistant. It's her first time. She's still learning.
Hold it!
Then, those cuffs on your wrists. I suppose you are still cuffed in that case. I am well aware of how I am chained to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. I couldn't find the key, so I'm afraid I'm stuck like this. Even though I escaped from jail cell, I will forever be a prisoner. Escape and ran away as fast as I could.
Hold it!
How did you manage to escape? I wanted to just get out of there, but the door leading outside was locked, which is why I had to use the underground passageway to make my escape. I remember escape being clear equally as hard. This is an invaluable piece of testimony. I mustn't let it go unexamined. It wasn't locked, actually. There was a door to the door. By underground passageway, you mean the one the staff uses to travel unnoticed. I suppose that's what it's for, but I didn't run into any staff members on the way out. Bruh, grinding wheels exist. You'll be fine. Also, by the way, I now remember who the mysterious badger that we met last time is. I don't think we ever see who it is, but the absolutely actually is the key. And it's the, like, bellboy from, like, the first case that Mia dies in. That dude. That's who the proto-badger was. So, if you had guessed that in the previous stream, that is the answer. I was trying to find the member of the police. And that's when you found us congregated at the stadium, I suppose. Let me ask you, then. How did you get hold of the key to the underground door? It was easy. It was hanging there, right there, in the room, on the wall. I do recall a key hanging on the wall right beside the table.
Boy, does that bring back memories of our situation and how we made our escape.
Indeed. And although the door of the front room led to the although the door in the floor of our room led to the underground room, the door in the floor of the room next door had a secret passageway.
A secret passageway under the theme park? Ooh, that sounds like so much fun.
I wonder if there's something off about the way Lance has made his escape. Yes, of course there was. Let us get all the way to the newest statement. No, I'm going the wrong way now. Okay, there we go. Present. Why would you do that? It wasn't locked. It just had a broken sword in it.
Objection!
You said the door leading out was locked, but was it really? Dude, those handcuffs are so wide. The fact that they just flew off your hands for a second there. Why are you wearing them still, you goober? We're talking about that room behind the saloon front, right? Look, I heard it took quite a few men to get that thing open. Right, Sheena? Yes, that's correct. Then take a look at this. What's that? A sword? Not especially reliable if it's broken like that. Allow me to start from the end. My conclusion is that the door was never locked. It was simply held shut by this sword, which was used to jam the handle. Lance, even though your hands were cupped together, you could still use them. If that's the case, why did you not just simply remove the sword and escape? Why didn't I? I was disoriented. Yes, that's it. I didn't notice it. As if I should accept such a bolt-faced lie. To be honest, Lang, how did your 100 goddamn men miss that obvious conclusion? Like, they're just shotgunning and doing a million things at once. They're not really trying that hard. And he mostly is just like, cool, we found this thing, let's go. Like, you locked yourself in the room because you had to make yourself look like a victim. But you did not, in fact, possess the key to the door. That is why you used a prop sword to improvise and create a prison of your very own. You've been making this guy out to be one of the kidnappers for some time now. I wonder if you've forgotten something very important along the way. And what would that be? A motive. What else? Do you honestly think that upright, pure boy like him would hatch a completely pointless scheme such as kidnapping himself?
Objection!
I know the reason! This proves that Lance did indeed have a motive to commit this crime. Yeah, you don't want to mess with Viola. She will fuck you up.
Take that!
To put it simply, Lance has a very urgent need for money. This is hardly your typical love letter. It is in fact a collections bill. It appears our upstanding boy has accumulated quite a debt. Isn't that right, Lance? Looks like it's hard being the son of a rich man, too. It must be rough when you have to resort to stealing from your own old man, huh? All right, I give up. I abducted myself.
Lance!
The hair swoosh. It's over, Lolly. In this life, we really are bound to our fates after all. All I wanted was to go with you to our new town, somewhere where no one would know us. I wanted us to be well off with that 1 million. But now, that dream is over.
Oh, Lance!
Then are you giving yourself up? Yes, I had planned to run away from this world with my Lolly. Oliver even helped us with a plan, but then he had to go and stab us in the back. He turned on you. Maybe he didn't want to split the ransom money. That's my guess. It happened almost right after you made the drop-off. When we were alone, he attacked me all of a sudden. After a brief struggle, I was able to contain him and kept him under control. We left him inside that room as Lolly and I made our escape. We wore different costumes and split up. Lolly left first in the blue badger costume. That would mean the person Officer Meekin saw was Miss Pops. But right then, the old man just had to wake up. I was careless. He tackled me pretty hard from the behind. Then Oliver put on the bad badger costume, took the suitcase with $1 million, and ran. I contacted Lolly right away and warned her that he had a gun. They had no idea they were related, so I thought that it could only end badly.
I still don't believe it. That person was not my father. Because if he was, I just killed my own father.
Lolly, then it really was you. Dun, dun, dun. I can't believe Lance could overpower him in the first place, even if he was old. Yeah, really. I'm not sure why the hair cutting thing is part of her like animation kit, but it sure is. Okay.
That man was not my father. I mean, because at the stadium, there was a bad badger pulling the suitcase with the 1 million in it. But that badger pointed this gun at me, aiming to shoot me dead. That's why I used the gun I got from Lance. There was a gunshot. The other person crumpled to the ground. And I ran, scared for my life.
Gee, I wonder what happened. I think the big picture's finally coming into focus, don't you? Lolly, forgive me. I didn't think it would turn into something so frightening. If only I could have protected you.
So, Miss Pops? She shot her own dad without even knowing who he really was?
If what she says is true, she'll fucking do it.
Are you saying she's lying? But why would she lie about something like that? What purpose would it serve?
You would be surprised how often people lie without even realizing it themselves, Kay.
Huh? What's that supposed to mean?
What I mean is, listen very carefully to her confession once more, and you'll see.
Da 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 da. Chain of events.
Hold it!
Please calm down and let's slowly talk this through.
But
All you have to do is simply tell us what happened at the stadium. Leave it to us to search out the truth. Can you do that for me?
all right. So, at the stadium,
It's a bad badger pulling a suitcase with $1 million.
Hold it!
That was the ransom money, wasn't it?
yes, that's how I was able to identify Mr. Deacon almost immediately. It was all thanks to what Lance told me.
And what did he tell you?
Well, he called me on my cell phone and told me that Mr. Deacon had betrayed us and had run off with the ransom money. And about how he had a gun. But that badger pointed his gun at me, aiming to shoot me dead.
Hold it!
Were you able to clearly see the gun?
Yes, I got a very good look at it while it was pointed at me. Oh, Father, why would you try to shoot me?
Do you really think a father would shoot his own daughter, Mr. Edgeworth? I don't know. If it was Von Karma, but to be fair, he never actually shot his own daughter, so that didn't happen.
I don't want to believe it myself.
Edgeworth thinks I'm down.
But it's true. My father's left arm was raised with a gun in it and pointed straight at me. I'm about to die, I thought.
Miss Popes.
Huh?
Please calm down and take a deep breath. And then, would you allow me to please hear that last statement one more time?
Yes, of course.
Von Karma would tase her, though. Okay, but also Vadford Von Karma would definitely do so. For sure. With this left hand! Except that can't be the case. Because the bad badger has a gun. Look at this vile criminal. But that's the right hand. I don't know. Okay, we know he had a gun. Oh, because it was in the left hand and he's right-handed, right? Because that's what that says. Yeah, okay.
Objection!
Yeah. No, I was thinking more the costume had the gun that was like sewn into it thing, but then I was thinking of the other. Yeah. I have here a dossier on your father. And according to this, your father was right-handed.
Ah, then.
The person pointing the gun at you from atop the stage was not Mr. Deacon. Despite the fact that it's entirely possible to use your non-dominant hand for stuff. Hold it right there, Mr. Prosecutor. I think you need to take a refresher course. Bad Badger has a model gun attached to his right hand. Which is why the only hand he could have held the real gun in was his left hand. Okay, Lane is speaking some sense. Isn't it possible it went down like that? No, because it was ripped off. Agent Lane, were you paying attention to what Miss Pop said? Then again, I suppose I can't expect someone who has never set foot in the court to catch it. Enough of your smugness, out with it already. Miss Pops told us earlier.
There was a Bad Badger pulling the suitcase with 1 million in it.
According to you, the Bad Badger had a gun in his left hand. Which would mean that he was pulling the suitcase with his right hand. Is that correct, Miss Pops?
Yes, exactly. And I'm sure it was the Bad Badger. It had those huge sunglasses on its face.
That's the case. Even I can see there's a huge contradiction. Yes, Miss Pops claims to have seen the Bad Badger. And yet, the Bad Badger had both his hands full. These two pieces of information contradict each other, so one must be wrong. It wasn't the Bad Badger. Both hands were not occupied. Both are correct. Both are correct, I believe. They are both correct. Impossible. That just leaves us with irresolvable contradiction. Miss Pops' entire statement rests on the fact that she saw this sunglasses and beard. But what if the Bad Badger wasn't wearing pants on his lower half? Yeah, what if? The Bad Badger was not dual-wielding. He was not cool enough. This stream is sponsored by Bad Badger. Use code EDGY and get 20% off your next discreet order. This proves that there was a way for the Bad Badger to freely use both of his hands. It was ripped from the costume.
Take that!
Wait, no? Get your head on straight, Mr. Prosecutor. That didn't show me diddly squat.
I knew it. What I saw was just a mirage.
Wait, I can explain. Miss Pop said the Bad Badger had a gun in his left hand and the suitcase in his right, but the Bad Badger's costume was a model gun attached to his right hand, which was created with this contradiction about which hand it was. Miss Pop said. Okay, fine. He used a different lower half, I think is what they're implying, but still. He was Donald Ducking. I guess. Well, that doesn't. I mean, I guess the idea is he just used the lower half of a different badger. But how do you want me to Oh, they updated this. The blue badger was Lauren, the proto badger was Lance, and the bad badger was Oliver Deacon. How often can I say badger? Okay, I'm gonna assume they mean the head then, because they didn't take the body.
Take that!
Hey! I know you want to reject the idea it's why, but yes. How are these things badgers, as in badge, police badge? The costumes have two parts to them, the head and the body.
Oh, I get it now.
The head Miss Pop saw was probably the real head of the bad badger. However, it is not possible that the body was that of an entirely... Is it not possible that it was that of an entirely different badger? A different badger? Lane's like, why did I get roped into this dumbass case? How did I get here? That is the face of a man with a lot of regret. My brain is fighting it being badgers like an infection. Yes, or to put it more bluntly, I believe it was the lower half of this badger. The body of the bad badger Miss Pulp saw was... Okay, well, obviously it wasn't her, and it wasn't that, so it was one of these two. But Lauren was wearing this costume, so then it had to be the lower half of this costume. Which we know Lance was wearing, so...
Take that!
What the heck is that?
It's the proto badger.
Yes, and it's a simple matter of process of elimination. Miss Pops was wearing the blue badger's costume, so we can eliminate that one. And the pink badger is of the wrong color, which would have been incredibly obvious. All that's left is the proto badger's costume. Miss Pops, who was the one who wore the proto badger costume?
That would be Lance.
Are you saying what I think you are? That Lance Amano donned the bad badger's head and pretended to be Mr. Deacon? On top of which he plotted to shoot Miss Pulps while wearing that hideous thing? The stage that was set up in the stadium was nothing more than a setup. Yes, the Five Nights at Freddy's badger. I mean, proto badger. Badger. They even made that joke in an earlier segment. The multiple badgers. Purpose was to lead Miss Pulps into believing she had committed murder. Standing there in front of Miss Pulps and pretending to be the victim. It was all done so that she would pull the trigger. I have no idea what you're talking about. Why exactly would I have to do all that, huh? There's but one reason. Lance Amano, you are the real culprit behind the murder of Mr. Oliver Deacon. What?
No!
That's slander! Take it back! Take it back right now! I'm just out of curiosity, Lance. Which is your dominant hand? I'm left-handed, but what does that have to do with anything? It depends. According to Miss Pops, her attacker held a gun in his left hand. Ha! Who is wet-handed doesn't prove a thing. And besides, now you're just being absurd. It's not like the proto-badger is bulletproof. One misfire, and he would have found himself dead, right?
Objection!
Of course, logically, if he'd been shot, he probably wouldn't be here with us. But I believe he had thought of that as well, and prepared accordingly. And this should be all the evidence you need. This is how Lance made sure he wouldn't be hit by a bullet. He gave her the decoy gun that fires blanks.
Take that!
We found one half of the Bad Badger costume in the hideout, a broken one. It was not the same one as the victim was wearing. Plus, it was missing something. And that something is the model gun that the Bad Badger carries, which can fire blanks. What? Miss Pulps, where is the gun you used now?
I threw it away into the sea.
That makes it a bit tough to verify what it was. Although, I believe that we can safely assume that it was the model gun in question. I've heard enough. All you've been spouting so far is pure conjecture. I admit that as long as the model gun is lost to us, I can't prove I'm right. However, I can say that its probability that I am right is very high. Okay, let's pretend that you're right, and that the murder at the stadium was a fabrication. In that case, where do you think the real murder took place, Mr. Prosecutor? I don't know yet. I knew you were full of it. However, I do believe that the murder took place during an earlier time frame.
Please, wait a second. It's simply not possible. Because I saw Mr. Deacon after he was restrained by Lance.
She saw the victim in a state of being restrained. Dun dun dun, what Miss Pulps saw.
I came back to the hideout long after the other two. By the time Lance had already subdued and restrained Mr. Deacon. He had tied Mr. Deacon securely to the beam in the room next door. After that, the two of us put on our costumes and made our escape.
So, Mr. Deacon must have escaped after you two left, right?
We thought that it'd attract too much attention if we left together, so I left first. We planned to meet up again at the stage in the stadium. But then, as I was walking through the park, I got a call from Lance on my cell phone.
Oliver managed to escape. It looked like he was waiting until I was alone. He also stole a gun from me at that time. And then the murder happened. Mr. Deacon must have overheard their plan to meet up at the stage. Well, Mr. Prosecutor, Miss Pop saw the victim with her own eyes. Which means the victim was still alive at that time. Wouldn't you agree? Why does that sound wrong to me? There must be something amiss about this account. Let's see what happens when I examine it more in detail. You know, Lance looks like the worst social link in the Persona game. The level of, like, truth and burn of that statement, Captain. That was a good one.
Hold it!
When exactly did you arrive back at the hideout?
It was after I had picked up a ransom money.
And where were you up until the time you returned?
I was scouting out the park out and making preparations for our escape. I walked around in various areas looking for the best route.
So each of them had their own rules to play.
After I was done, I went back to the hideout. By that time, Lance had already subdued and restrained him.
Hold it!
How did Lance look at the time?
Well, he looked shocked. He also looked a little down. When I saw that sadness in his eyes,
Thank you, yeah. That'll be enough for now. And what of Mr. Deacon? What was his situation like?
You tied Mr. Deacon securely to the beam in the room next door.
Oh. No, that was us!
Hold it!
Are you sure that it was Mr. Deacon you saw?
Yes, I am certain of what I saw.
Did you go into the other room to check?
Lance said that it was best that I didn't get too close to him. Lance, he's such a kind soul.
Then, are you telling me that you did not confirm that it was Mr. Deacon yourself?
I checked through the slit of the door that separates the two rooms. Get the Bad Badger's head on, so I'm absolutely sure. That just had to be Mr. Deacon.
She saw a Bad Badger head. Yeah, that was me.
Hold it!
So the tied up Mr. Deacon was still in his Bad Badger costume.
Yes, and?
It would appear that she misread the whole situation. What now? Should I raise an objection? Yeah, of course. The person you saw was not the victim.
What? Why not?
I will tell you why not. With this. This, Miss Pops, shows us that the person you saw was not the victim. Is it just using the Bad Badger head? I guess so.
Take that!
Miss Pops, the person you saw was not Mr. Deacon at all.
Huh?
She must consult her precious power ring. Slurp. The person you actually saw was this person. It was me. It was me.
Huh? The person I saw was you, Mr. Edgeworth?
I always thought it was odd. Why would the kidnapper abduct me, and even after I'd handed over the ransom? It's not as though I saw the face of the kidnappers. If it were them, I would have just taken the $1 million and ran. But, in the end, there was a point to it all. It was to make me look like Mr. Deacon. And if that was the reason for which I was abducted, then I believe we can assume that the victim was already dead at that time. Well, Lance, am I right? That's... You showed Miss Pops a person, namely me, with a Bad Badger's head on. And then made your costume escape together. Or so you pretended.
Huh? What do you mean he pretended?
Exactly that. I believe Lance watched you escape, and then doubled back to the hideout. Probably to come and remove the Bad Badger's head from my unconscious self. And to create his fake prison with the prop sword, he then escaped via the passageway. Hold your tongue, boy. Don't get caught up in that tidal wave of words coming out of the Mr. Prosecutor's mouth. Tidal wave? I heard a lot coming out of you, but I've yet to see a shred of evidence. Victim's betrayal, a subsequent detainment. All of that could have happened while you were out cold. That's right. You were out for quite a while, Mr. Prosecutor. Even if that were the case, Miss Pops. Miss Pops would have still seen me tied to that beam.
I was scared of Mr. Deacon, so I didn't go into the next room. So I really have no idea if you were there or not, Mr. Edgeworth.
To be honest, the little twerp can improvise the hell out of a murder heist. He's doing his best. See, it would seem that you can't prove a thing. Hold it. Who said that? Oh, it's Dad. Please wait. Mr. Mono. Ha, ha, ho. Miles, my boy. It looks like you've really given it your all. And lads, it's not good to cause trouble for others. Dad! Let's see. You are the one in charge of this investigation, correct? Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry that my son has been nothing but trouble. This probably won't make up for anything, but I have some evidence for you. Oh, you do? The music all cut out. It's fine. Can the blue badger please stop staring at me? That is the scariest face. I don't know what it is. It's just so dead inside, and the longer I stare at it, the more the void approaches. Oh. Is that what I think it is? Oh, wow. It's the bad badger costume the victim was wearing. And a gun. I couldn't wait around for the police, so I went and found these myself. It appears that they were disposed of in the sea. Is there no one in this country who actually obeys the law? Well, Lang, I mean... There! Now, Agent Lane, please calm down. What the heck is this scrap of paper?
It appears to be a letter from the Chief of Police. Please allow Mr. Amano complete freedom to do as he sees fit, it says.
Thanks, Lady Gaga. I mean, Sheena. Also, the reason you feel that way about the blue badger is because you can see the top whites of its eyes. Yeah, that's probably true. What? Chief of Police? What the? Just who does he think he is?
The person who wields the highest authority in this area.
Ho, ho, ho! There now. There is no need to be so upset. I'm not cut from this land, so I'm not bound by the laws of your country. No. This wasn't meant to strong-arm you into anything. It's just a request. I'm only asking you please respect the laws of the land. Can't really say no to that. However, returning to the topic at hand. It doesn't matter who found the evidence. Its value remains unchanged. Alright now, let's take a look at this new evidence. I've already got the results back. I had a special forensics research lab that I'm on good terms with conduct the tests that are totally trustworthy. But evidence law. Only Phoenix Wright has to follow evidence law, and if he doesn't, then he gets barred for... Everyone else does not have to follow the law. It actually specifically says in the code that only Phoenix Wright has to follow it. They verified that the blood on this costume belonged to Oliver. As for the gun, the only fingerprints they could find were yours, Lauren. What? You disappoint me, Miles. I can't believe that you would cause my son such stress and heartache. Thank goodness I was able to find the final pieces of evidence. It's written in the Bill of Rights. With this, you have no reason left to push my poor boy around. And that's it? These are the case-making pieces of evidence. Ha, I'll be the judge of that. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Well, there's obviously a bullet wound. This bullet. It looks kind of burnt around the edges. Wait, those burn marks were left by gunpowder. This is an important fact. Why is that? Because it's proof that the victim was shot at point-blank range. Could this gun be the actual murder weapon? Used to kill Deacon, was originally stolen from the guard. There's a... what's this? Looks like there's something inside the costume head. Hey, they sparkle. I bet they're really valuable. Sorry, but they're just pieces of mirror. But why are they in here? Okay, I guess we found all the things. Well, are these not the most definitive pieces of evidence you've ever seen? Thanks, Dad. I should be enough to convince even Mr. Edgeworth over there. But will it though? But will it though? Make no mistake, there are fingerprints on that murderous gun. And they prove that it was Lolly who killed Oliver. But Oliver was also after Lolly's life. So, Mr. Edgeworth, even you must see that Lolly was only acting in self-defense. And the fingerprints on the weapon, huh? Oh no! This isn't helpful at all. Look, Mr. Edgeworth, all I want to do is save Lolly. But in the end, all I can do is watch as she takes the punishment for her crimes. Yes, you love her very much, Lance. That may be all you can do. However, I still have a case to solve. And a job to do. The job of unraveling your insidious lies. You wound me! Why would you believe me? Wouldn't you believe me, even in the face of all this evidence? Because Daddy's lying for you, dude. Like, it takes true love to accuse someone of killing their dad. It's only in self-defense. If it's only in self-defense. Oh, yeah?
Hold it!
There's fingerprints. Are you sure they belong to Miss Pops? There's no mistake about it. Through my connections, I have the best forensics techniques money can buy performed. I find that a bit peculiar. What? What are you trying to pick an argument with me? What should I do? Should I raise an objection? Yeah, because the gun was not hers. It was Oliver Deacon's. Frankly, I didn't believe that's what Miss Pop's prints should be on that gun to begin with. The reason why Miss Pop's prints should not be on the gun is, I assume I gotta present the, this thing?
Take that!
No, apparently not. Which piece is that? Look here, this is what I speak of. Your logic is so hard to follow, you should Screw you guys! My logic is sound! Oh, the costume? Okay. Is it because she's wearing a costume, so she shouldn't have any fingerprints on it anyway? Yeah, it's probably what it actually is. Yes, raise an objection. I don't believe they should be on the gun to begin with, and the reason why the print should not be on the gun is... Reddit man's ironclad logic. Was stolen from a guard by the victim during the escape. Found Miss Pop's fingerprints on this gun. Can you let me hold it for a second? I shouldn't if you don't know how to handle it. Besides, Miss Pop's prints are on it. Look, I'm wearing gloves. It'll be okay. I just want to take a look at it, that's all. It's not like I'm gonna run off with it. The only thing is I don't return yeah, it's because she was wearing the costume. Stealing either one of these would land you in jail, you know. Wait. Check the barrel. It's got all the bullets in it. Apparently that's not something I can check though. Okay. How do I show her costume? Because she was in costume? Okay, I probably should actually save because apparently I am like losing horribly. No, I live on the edge. So they found the gun with the costume? Did they want me to... Remember that one updated earlier? Yeah.
Take that!
Okay, that is correct. It is simply not possible for Miss Pops to have left any prints on the murder weapon. Because while she was at the stadium, Miss Pops was wearing a costume. Huh? But there's no mistake. We found fingerprints. Oh, Miss Pops. Do you remember touching the gun at any time at all?
Ah, yes. As a matter of fact, I did hold it for a bit back in the hideout. I handed it off to Mr. Deacon when you and Lance left for the haunted house.
To retrieve a ransom money, I suppose. And there you have it. That is where Miss Pops's prints found their way onto the gun. Ugh. Do you understand now, Mr. Amano? The fingerprints do nothing to prove that Miss Pops is the murderer. But you still don't have anything to prove that she isn't the killer, right? No, that's Miles. Edgeworth. You seem very adamant about insisting that your girlfriend is a cold-blooded killer.
Oh, Lance!
What? No way, I'm incredibly worried about her. That doesn't change the fact that you don't have any evidence, right? That's where you're wrong. I have evidence. How? The story that Miss Pops killed the victim at the stage in the stadium. The whole affair simply is not true because that was not the real crime scene, but a setup. This proves the real murder was not committed at the stadium at all. The glass? I'm gonna say the glass, because the glass is from somewhere else. Right?
Take that!
No, apparently not. I am incorrect. But the glass... Okay, I know where we're going with this, but I'm clearly like... Okay. 0. I'm at least a 6.8 out of 10. This Ray Molly's gonna wind up getting arrested. Save with my very little HP left. The murder did not happen at the stadium. And then the scenario where the victim was up on the stage and Miss Pops was down below. There must be something that invalidates it. This proves the real murder was not committed at the stadium at all. Oh, because the point blank and the costume? Is that what they're trying to say? Yeah, that's probably what they're trying to say. Is that this one? Yeah, okay.
Take that!
Let us take a good look at the costume the victim was wearing. Then I believe you'll see why I insist he was not shot at the stadium. It's Fire Emblem all over again. This is the part of the costume that proves it. It's the gunshot wound.
Take that!
The burn around this bullet hole was made when the victim was shot at point-blank range. I would like to point out that if I got this wrong, I would have lost all of my points. All of my HP, and I would have died. Or, like, whatever the game over scenario is.
So then you mean that the murder Miss Olbeg saw at the stadium really was?
Yes. She saw two people, but they were separate by distance. If the victim was indeed shot from below the stage, there shouldn't have been gunpowder burn. Look at you, Mr. Smarty Pants Prosecutor. Since you seem to know all the answers, why not tell us where the real crime scene is, then? Lance set me up to look like Mr. Deacon back at the hideout. If that's the case, then the murder must have happened prior to that. And the location where Lance and the victim were at just before I was imprisoned was... I've got it! I know where the real scene of the murder was. The real location in which Mr. Deacon was killed was here! It's a good thing I know! I think it not unreasonable to assume that the murder took place at the haunted house. The haunted house? Yes, and I have proof that this is highly likely, that the victim was killed there. What proves that the real crime scene is the haunted house? I was just ahead of the game.
Take that!
These were inside the costume that the victim was wearing. They are fragments of a mirror. Mirror? What does that have to do with anything? Indeed. You don't exactly expect to find pieces of a mirror inside of costume. Yeah, that's actually pretty dangerous. However, there's one place I can think of where there's a plethora of mirror fragments. And that is the haunted house. Lance Amano, I propose that you killed Mr. Deacon with the revolver in the haunted house. How long do you think Edgeworth's been waiting to say that? The answer is forever. Oh yeah, Old Bag is in this game. Meekins was here earlier too, and now the glass shard is relevant because you need to do it in sequence. Impatient was only. Okay, I am impatient, you're right. After that, you stole the Blue Badger mobile and to move his body to the Wild Wild West area. The timing of when the Blue Badger mobile was stolen confirms this fact. Miles, my boy, say no more! I'm sorry, Mr. Amano, but I cannot do that. Quiet! Yes, please do something. Stop that boy from speaking any more nonsense as I squeeze my money. Ernest Amano, correct? I mean you. Now be quiet, Gramps. He's telling him to be quiet. How dare you! I don't need words. Only thing I require is evidence. Decisive evidence. And to call these mere bits decisive is a bit too presumptuous, Mr. Prosecutor. What? Sheena, wasn't there a mirror in the kidnapper's hideout?
Yes, there was a mirror there. A mirror that is for the haunted house.
You see? Isn't it possible the fragments got in the costume there? But, Agent Lang, there were no fragments on the floor, so the probability is very low. Probability? Lang Z says on the true path, where probability doesn't exist. The only thing that does is definitive proof. Question, Prosecutor, is, do you have definitive proof you need?
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you?
Do I have sold evidence that proves the murder took place in the haunted house? But the glass, it does prove it. The answer is no. No, we've got to go to the house and look. See, so you don't have any, so shut up. I don't have the evidence yet, but I'm certain the murder occurred around the time I turned the ransom over. At that time, the only other people in the haunted house besides myself were Lance and Mr. Deacon. If I can prove that the murder took place at the haunted house, then I can prove Lance's guilt in connection to the murder. What now, Mr. Edgeworth? Agent Lang, I have a specific request. Yeah. I'd like to prove to you that the scene of the crime was indeed the haunted house. Why in the world are you asking the werewolf for permission? Because I don't really have a choice if I want to find the truth. Alright, permission granted. But you're not to touch a single thing, got it? That won't be a problem. All that's important to me is that the truth be brought to light. It doesn't matter by who or how it's done, as long as it is. 'Cause all he believes in is truth. Sheena.
I'm here.
Put the paperwork in for the authorization immediately.
Understood. I'll go get the Great Gatewater Group's approval.
Hold it. Who is that? No. Let's hold on for a second. There's no need to obtain approval. Mr. Mono. Agent Lane, if you would please take a look at this. What's this? Sheena.
It's the deed to the haunted house.
He bought the haunted house? The deed. Read it out loud.
Gatewater Land hereby bequeaths the property, known as the haunted house, to Mr. Amano for the lump sum of 1 million paid in full, in cash.
What? Ho, ho, ho. As you can see, I am now the legal owner of the haunted house. The power of being a damn rich person.
Are you kidding? When did you...
I ran into the owner of the park earlier, and we made the deal almost immediately. How quickly things move when you can prepare $1 million in a blink of an eye. Okay, dude. That's 1 million you paid. Don't tell me it was... Oh, that's right. This disgusting suitcase belongs to you, doesn't it? I don't have any more use for it, so you may have it back now. You used the ransom money? My Lance is a good boy. He even apologized for the kidnapping bit earlier. So I do believe I will forgive him. After all, he did return the ransom money. That's the way things are. So if you would please discuss things with me from now on. Discuss? What's there to discuss? Why, permission to enter the haunted house, of course. While we were busy listening to Lance's story, Mr. Amano was out there preempting us. Permission to search the haunted house is denied. End of discussion. Agent Lane, I want you to arrest that girl. And Miles, you should hurry home, my boy, before I really lose my temper. Mr. Amano definitely has the deck stacked in his favor here. What should I do? If I leave it like this, the truth will be lost forever. And that is the worst thing that Miles could imagine. To be continued! Saving. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break. Just to rest my voice for a second. But I don't want to take too long because I think we can finish this case tonight. So, because I don't think the last part's super long. How does one sell one attraction in an amusement park anyway? Is that a thing? Place sponsored by the local police department. So I'm sure whoever runs it saw $1 million and was like, oh yeah, I'll make it work. Yeah, that's about what I would expect. I've discovered a place selling used and refurbished amusement park rides and I am terrified. Those are haunted for sure. Right? Like, they must be. So how are we going to finish the case, guys? It's impossible, right? March 13th, 4:27 p.m., Gate Waterland, Mainland Gate. If I can't get permission to investigate the crime scene, then the truth will be lost.
Hold it! Hold it! Hold it!
Okay.
Mr. Edgeworth, what are you doing spacing out? Have you forgotten? There's only one thing you should do at a time like this.
What is that?
When the people are in a bind, the hero of justice appears to save the day. Look, you just leave it to me. For I am Kay Faraday, the second of the great Yatagarasu.
But I thought you were a thief, not a hero.
The Yatagarasu is noble and is always a thief of justice.
That's... Of course. Maybe bumper cars. Bumper cars are on here, but you can buy a Ferris wheel for $200,000? Okay. As long as Edgeworth has an index finger, there is hope.
If we have enough information, I can recreate the inside of the haunted house with this. Plus, if we then factor in everyone's testimony,
you can recreate exactly what happened when I dropped off the ransom money. We may be able to figure out some new information through this. It's worth a try. Agent Lane. Yes, you want to use your little toy? Be my guest.
Okay, hang on. You're all about to witness the true power of real modern-day Robin Hood.
Detective Gumshoe. Is there a copy of the haunted house's blueprints among the police reference documents?
Yes, sir. We got it just in case we needed it for the kidnapping case. All right, I'll input the haunted house data then.
What's this? Where am I? It's like we're inside a haunted house. Even if we can't inspect the real location itself, the path of the truth slumbers here. If I can successfully navigate my way using logic, I'll ultimately arrive at the truth. Now then, I believe I am ready to investigate the crime scene.
Okay, what should I create first?
You haven't figured it out yet.
Maybe I have, and maybe I haven't. But I'm gonna make you do all the hard work.
Very well. I'd like to inspect the moment in which I was ambushed by my abductor. The two of them were definitely in this place at that time. If I can verify that, it may provide me with a new lead. Motorcycle carousel is 15,000. Now, on the one hand, this seems like it would be an inadmissible court. On the other hand, the judge would definitely go, ooh, shiny green light. Well, on the plus side, Edgeworth doesn't have to actually prosecute this guy. He just has to make it so that he goes to trial. So they can figure it out there, I guess. All I can think of are those traveling carnivals where there's 50-50 split between dying outright and slowly wasting away from tetanus. I had just come out into the hall after leaving the money inside the dining room. At that time, I saw a badger slumped over on the floor at the end of the hall.
Huh? What was a badger doing all the way down there?
I also thought it strange. However, I thought that maybe it was simply a mannequin that was set there for atmosphere.
Do you know which badger it was?
No, it was too dark to tell. All I saw was its silhouette. It was the proto-badger, we know this, but that's okay. Edward didn't see that.
In that case, I guess I'll just program a badger silhouette for now. Okay, programming complete.
Then I started to walk towards the exit.
And that's when you were struck from behind, right?
Yes.
But that's odd. The hallway's a dead end. Where did your assailant come from?
There's only one location I can think of. I believe my assailant was lying in wait here. Oh no, they didn't refill my HP!
Take that!
That doll I saw wasn't really a doll. It was in fact the costumed kidnapper.
Oh, so he used the costume as the perfect camouflage to blend in with the rest of the house.
Whoops. Well, time to save often, living on the edge, pretty much. Precisely. He waited until I had made the drop off and was about to leave. Then, just as he saw me take the steps towards the exit, he stood and launched his attack. You die in the game, you die for real. I can't think of no better hiding place than this.
Hey, not bad. I'm beginning to think I should steal this tactic for myself.
Just don't use it to do anything criminal, Kay. Nope. Nope. I don't know. Everything about this Teletubby dude is just not a thing. Nope. Well, lads. What? What are you asking me for? As the one of the kidnappers, I figured I should give you a chance to confess first. I was the one of the kidnappers, but I don't know anything. I didn't come up with the haunted house. I did come up to the haunted house, but I'd never set foot inside. I left Oliver in charge of picking up the ransom money. He didn't set foot inside. Is he telling the truth? Or is this another lie? Alright then. You're claiming that it was Mr. Deacon who assaulted me. Yes, I'm sure it was him.
Okay, inputting new info now. Mr. Deacon was the bad badger, right? Since the bad badger had a gun attached to his right hand, I'll have to change it so the weapon is in the left hand.
Now to verify the facts of this recreation. Begin investigating! Alright. So, we have the full run of everything. I remember glancing over and seeing this figure here as I left the dining room.
So I guess I got it spot on when I put it here in my recreation.
I didn't take a good look, but I'm sure there was a badger here.
When you take a look around, it almost feels like the House of Mirrors.
Indeed. Who's ever heard of this many mirrors inside of haunted house before?
Well, at least we know this is the real crime scene thanks to these mirror shards.
It's a weird episode of House where they use the hologram tech to recreate a person's dream images.
Hey, wait, these shards, there's something different about them.
Oh.
These ones we found earlier are thicker than the shards from the mirror on the wall. And look, there's some sort of design on the back, too.
Pieces that from the costume are certainly different from the other mirrors. What does this mean? Could it be that are not the pieces of these mirrors? They're different! Okay, there's this. Piece of armor set in the pile here.
What do you think? They
Why do you think they almost always have sets of armors inside haunted houses? I suppose this sort of interior design is meant to bring out a sense of abnormalcy. Why do your explanations have to be so hard to understand, Mr. Edgeworth? Now try explaining it again, but this time so that even a thief like me can get it. That may prove to be a most difficult task. Imagine this is how he snuck up on you. That gadget of yours can even replicate people's movements. Well, it's used to plan heists, so of course it's got to be able to simulate the police. It's definitely well made. Perhaps too well made. Maybe I should confiscate it after the investigation. No, that's not allowed, Edgeworth. Well, very well. I will explain this as I would explain to a second grader. Or right? You didn't recreate the weapon. Well, I can't exactly recreate something I don't know. Something I know nothing about. So tell me, what were you hit with? The attack came from behind, so I have no idea, but I doubt it was something with bare hands. Someone's bare hands. Okay, then where were you hit? I was hit on the right side of my head, just above my temple. There was a bit of blood, but it wasn't anything serious. Ouch, sounds painful. Why are you smirking like that when you say it? Just your imagination. Now let's see. I wonder if there's anything in the hallway that could have been used as a weapon. I'm looking at something the culprit could have used to hit you with. I'm looking for something. Yeah, it's the sword.
Take that!
I have it. There was indeed one such object lying here in this hallway. The prop sword. Are you talking about this thing here? Yes. Although we did find it in the kidnapper's hideout. Wait. Yes. It's possible the culprit was took it with him after using it on me. To leave no evidence behind, right? Correct. It may be worth a more thorough examination yet. Okay, so what test do you want to run on this sword? Probably a luminol test, because he was in a costume, so... The culprit was wearing... Yeah, thank you, Edgeworth. The culprit was wearing a costume at the time, so a fingerprint analysis is useless. Let's run a luminol test. It is possible some of my blood was found on its way on here. Agent Lang, may I ask for your cooperation in this matter? Like I have a choice. Sheena, call the lab boys. Understood. Except for the dab on the left side, it would appear that the blade is spotless. So it must have been a left side of the prop sword that hit you then, right? Culprit hit me in the right temple area. Okay, I'll update the recreation with this new piece of information. Won't rest until I'm inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. Look at this gun in its head. Okay, so he's hit on the right of his head. Okay. Okay, first of all, let me just save because I'm gonna fuck this up. I just know it. Guy Fieri took Edgeworth to Flavor Town. Like, I'm pretty sure the idea is that the sword's in the wrong hand, right? So let's go all in on the sword being on the wrong hand. Some thought is connected to something. The sword. Where's the sword? There you go. It hit me on the right. Finally, I found a clear contradiction of the facts about this sword. Except for the bit on the left side, this prop sword is absolutely spotless. However, if the culprit had used his left hand, the blood would be on the opposite side. The opposite side? Huh. If the culprit held the sword in his left hand, then the sword's right side would be hit. I see, but the blood was on the left side of the sword, right? Which means that he used his right hand to hit you. Exactly. This prop sword has a large handguard attached to the hilt. It would be impossible to hold it with two hands while wearing a costume with such big hands. Therefore, it could only, if it couldn't have been in the left hand or both hands, it must have been in the right hand. I'll change the data to reflect the right-handed swing. Not yet, Kay. There's no sense in changing anything yet. If you change the parameters of the right hand, it'll only create a new contradiction. Changing the prop sword to be the culprit's right hand would conflict with what? The gun? This?
Take that!
Okay, that is the correct one. I'm like, is this the one where the gun was ripped off? I don't even know anymore. No, that was from the spare gun costume. The Bad Badger is already holding a gun in his right hand, so he can't hold a sword in addition. Hey, that's right. Then what now? If it wasn't in the left or right hand... It is exciting having no buffer of health now, also worrying. I know, right? It means that the one who struck me could not have been the Bad Badger. Are you paying attention, Lance? Mr. Deacon could not have been the one who struck me, which leaves only you as our primary suspect.
Fine, it was me, I hit you.
It appears that you lied to me yet again. But see how quickly they catch up to you, Lance. Wait, isn't Lance left-handed? Yes, but that makes this deception all the more interesting. He used the right hand to make it look like Mr. Deacon had been the one who struck me. For you see, firing a gun with one's non-dominant hand is difficult. But that level of dexterity isn't required for swinging a prop sword. Proto-Big Badger Funko Pop went. Never! Okay, please input this new data. The one who hit me from behind was Lance. Or should I say the Proto-Badger? You got it! Here I go! Now, we have a faithful recreation of the situation around the attack on me. All right, all we have to do is examine this new recreation and... And what exactly is so funny, Agent Lang?
An amusing little gadget sure packs a punch, right, Sheena?
Yes, it was all I could do to hold my laughter in.
Hey, don't make fun of little thief. You mean old werewolf? He and Mr. Edgeworth bring out the best in each other.
You've had your little fun, but now it's my turn. I've sat quietly and listening. But the crude conclusions you two keep spewing don't whet this wolf's appetite. There's no guarantee that your toy will always show the real situation at any given time. All it did was display whatever information you put in there, right?
Well, when you put it that way...
Your suppositions are wrong. It's not your fault, so I'm gonna let you in on this. There's a trick to this haunted house.
And what may that be exactly? Okay, now it's true mascot horror. How dare you bring up a valid point?
Trick beyond your tiny imagination can produce. Sheeta!
Here you are.
Now then, what you missed, girlie, is written right here in this pamphlet.
The 7 wonders of the haunted house. The disappearing badger.
What is this?
I hate it, is what it is.
I'd say someone around here is fond of theatrics. And as you can see, they set a doll down at the end of the hallway for that purpose. Basically, the blue badger you saw was just a stupid doll.
How can this be?
Guess that throws your whole theory about being your attacker right out the window.
Okay, but Lance already, like, confirmed that he was the one who attacked us.
But that can't be right. Maybe the culprit hid the doll somewhere. And then he laid down and pretended to be it instead.
The criminal couldn't even hide himself in the hallway. How would he hide a giant doll? You get it now? Thanks to your presumptions. Your logic started off weak and led you down a completely wrong conclusion. Now get off your high horse.
Mr. Edgeworth?
Hey, I wonder if you could please input the new information for me.
You don't know when to quit, do ya?
I can't quit now. Not until I've declared that I found the truth. Agent Lane, for the additional information, you have my thanks.
There you go again. Well, see if I care.
Okay, I'm updating the recreation now.
Heartbreaking, the worst person you know just made a great point. No, I hate it so much.
That looks really weird. Look at how it changes from Blue Badger into Proto Badger all of a sudden.
If the slumped-over badger was just a doll, where was my attacker hiding?
Well, that's what we're gonna find out, right? So, come on, Mr. Edgeworth, let's go!
Yes, let's. This recreation can't be right, which means there must be a contradiction somewhere. Won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious nook and cranny. I hate it. Why? This blue badge is just a doll used for haunting. Use this haunted house.
I bet the one who killed the Blue Badger was the bad badger, right?
According to the Blue Badger's Bible, it says that they are each other's worst enemy.
All because one is an ally of justice, and the other's a vile criminal with a gun!
Perhaps they were just destined to battle each other. Much like the Steel Samurai and the Evil Magistrate. Okay. Oh. No, that's not. I wanted to go in here. I don't like it a lot. I'm supposed to deduce something that's weird about this. I mean, I guess the idea is, like, I know the, like, what happens in here, but I don't... Those eyes don't only follow your movement, but your very soul. Was there anything else around here? It's just that, right? Let's see.
This is where the Proto Badger shows up in our recreation.
Yes. Now the question is, where did he come from?
Yeah, but there's no place to hide in our current model.
There must be an inconsistency somewhere. Just
sure I'm not. Okay, I think it's just me having to. This is the Proto Badger who has struck me. I suppose I should really say that is Lance. Oh, are you gonna get him back? I need not resort to violence when the lawsuit I plan to bring to court will suffice. Really? Because I would totally have decked him right back. If someone steals from me, I steal something from them. If I get hit, I hit them back. If I get paid, I return the money. That's the secret to how a great thief works. That statement doesn't seem to be much benefit to his survival. See, Phoenix, this is why Edgeworth has money. Okay, so I needed to do something about this costume. Clearly. And I don't have any, like, actual logic to connect right now. Okay, so let's him here. Is it something to do with it being... It's because it's mirrored, right? Like he's like... Because the entire... I know how the trick works. So they want me to say that, like, he's, like, not correct. So do I... That took me forever. I'm more so not sure what I'm supposed to use to deduce that. I guess if I compare... Because it's not the picture in the pamphlet, right? Because they're identical to the pamphlet, so I have to use this, where it's the opposite. Eureka! Hey! You have it. Just what the badger is supposed to look like. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that one. Hold on a second here. There's something wrong with this blue badger. Huh? Like what? The way the belt is on him is opposite of how it should be. Did you make a mistake? That can't be. I inputted the image data right because she got the picture from the pamphlet, so that's why it's that way. Okay. Katie is a genius. A genius? No, I just know the answer to the case, I guess. But I was like, I think this is what they want, but I'm not sure how to say it. So then why is the blue badger dressed up in reverse? Mispronouncing genius, yo. Thus genius. This is why I'm not a genius. Blue badger in the pamphlet photos in reverse to the regular blue badger. But why? There must be some sort of explanation. Okay. So now we gotta... It's something to do with the mirror. How do I... Oh, maybe I gotta logic that. The blue badger is in... Wait, am I gonna... It's in reverse because of the mirror shards, right? Am I gonna lose my genius points? Let's just do it anyway. Okay. Behold Edgeworth's special ability thinking about stuff. Hey, do you remember what you said earlier? What I said about... Earlier about what? About how this building might as well have been a house of mirrors. A house of mirrors? Oh, that would explain the reversed or the mirror image. Yes. This blue badger might be nothing more than the reflected image of the real one. Then, was the blue badger you saw just a reflection? When I looked down the hall, I thought it was a perfectly straight. However, if there was a mirror... Oh, then it would actually be in the form of an L shape, right? Precisely. The shape of an L on her forehead. Precisely. I was deceived. The hallway was almost pitch black. Okay, he's mirrored right now. Hypocrite. And there was a beam in the way that obstructed my view of the other hallway. Wait, but why build this place like that? It sounds pretty pointless to me. Okay, this house is just another attraction at an amusement park. They created a mirror wall for a very specific purpose, one I can point out to you. This is the reason they built the mirror wall. They built it... to make the attraction, I assume is what he's getting at. To save... I mean, they built the mirror wall for this trick, is the idea, I'm assuming. Please be right. Okay. As is written in the pamphlet, the main draw of this attraction... I am playing with a fire. I'm gonna save right now, actually. Okay. Is the mystery of the disappearing badger. It's truly a Scooby-Doo as case. Pretty much. You mean they built a mirror for a trick alone? But you said that you saw the badger, so it's definitely still there. That's true, at the time. However, doing this allows someone to make the blue badger disappear in a flash. Moving the mirror wall. Move the blue badger. Dim the lamps. Won't move the mirror wall. To remove the reflected image, simply move the mirror. First, the mirror was constructed so that it could be moved. Then, beyond where the mirror was, an empty hallway had to be created. Oh, so when they wanted people to see the blue badger, they would open the mirror. And when they wanted to hide it, they simply had to close it again. This explanation is why the other side of these fragments has a design on them. Ah, and if the pattern is the same on the other side of the wall in the hallway, then when the mirror is closed, it would blend in with the rest of the wall. This is the mirror trick that this haunted house employs. And this also proves the existence of a hiding place for the culprit. Huh? How so? Think about it, Kay. There was a place that was outside my field of vision. The culprit kept out of sight by hiding here. I always hate these. But here. There was a very large blind spot I could not see beyond that, and it was here. If my assailant hid on the other side of the movable mirror, then you wouldn't be able to see him. What a weird thing to include in your theme park. A dead, slumped over mascot in your haunted house. Maybe someone wished that the blue badger was dead and understood how terrifying he was. He didn't even need to do anything to the blue badger doll. Exactly. All he had to do was wait for me on the other side of the mirror. Wait, hold on. I just thought of something. Yes. Well, shouldn't the mirror wall be broken right now in reality? Since we have a few shards of it, we can probably assume it is. Yes, it most definitely is broken. The question is, when was it broken? Since we found these inside the victim's costume, that would mean that the victim was there when the mirror was broken. Wait, that sounds... Leave the money and go now. Ooh. That sound I heard was most definitely the sound of a mirror breaking. 7 years bad luck! Okay. I'd like you to input some new information.
Ah! Don't scare me like that!
Sorry, but I need you to recreate something for me.
Sure, whatever you need.
So, what do you need? If you could first recreate this hallway just before I entered the dining room.
You got it!
There's too many blue badgers on the screen right now. Or, you know what I mean. It's just, no. It's like finding a corpse of Mickey inside the haunted mansion. Now, this, I believe, is how I was right before I entered the dining room. Although, at the time, I thought it was but a single straight hallway. And then I went inside. It was around then I heard the sound of a mirror shattering.
You heard what? Then...
Yes, I believe it was then that the mirror was broken.
Okay, so then when you stepped outside the hallway again...
The mirror wall should not have existed. Okay, please recreate that. Too many badgers. Got it. It's okay. We've almost escaped this case. I'm pretty sure we're very close. Unless we have a bunch of interrogations after this, but I feel like we've done most of the interrogating, and at this point we're just trying to prove our interrogations, right? We aren't in the last case yet, where it probably would be like another 5 interrogations. Wait, but with the mirror gone, the culprit lost his hiding spot. So where did he go in his proto-badger suit, Mr. Edgeworth? Huh, that's easy enough. With the mirror gone, he simply hid himself in the branch hallway. Please stop, I hate him.
I think this about wraps it up. Looks like we finally solved everything.
No, not yet. An even larger contradiction has now reared its head.
Huh?
Perhaps you did not notice, but this recreation contains a very troubling inconsistency. The inconsistency between what I saw and the recreation lies... with him being there, I guess?
Take that!
Here. Are you sure that's a contradiction? Oh no. Oh no. I failed. Even if you're not having a tough time with this, then there must be one tricksy tricks.
Hey, wait, you didn't mean what you just said,
Did you? Oh no, I caved over. Okay, well, you know what? I'll read it out since I did fuck up. They added that nice history button. Yeah. Look, we all know you're just chasing delusions, so just stop wasting time, all right? You want to suspect me, Mr. Edgeworth, but you haven't got a single shred of evidence. Ugh. No. I say we let the courts resolve the rest. Oh. A few days later, Lance was acquitted of all charges due to lack of evidence. Thus, the truth was lost for all eternity. does retry do? I'm gonna go with load save because I saved pretty close to where I was at, but oh, there's an autosave right here. That seems to be further along. Or was it? No, I'm not sure anymore. I don't know. Yeah, okay, we're here. Oh, it's probably the opposite because now there's no mirror to reflect the badger, so there's nothing here.
Take that!
Okay. You know what? I'd never seen a game over in this game before, so it was worth it for that. Okay.
Hey, take a good look at the end of the hall. Oh, there's no blue badger there. Exactly. The blue badger that I saw in reality is not here. This is the final point on the long chain of logic, the last remaining contradiction. Bum, bum, bum.
So let me get this straight. When you came out of the dining room, you saw a badger, right?
And that is precisely where the final contradiction lies. Something that shouldn't exist was there before me. Who or what do you suppose it was? I believe this is the real identity of our mystery badger. Badger, 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 badger. Pooh, 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 pooh.
It was the victim, right?
Take that!
Okay, good. I'm assuming this is what it actually was.
The badger I saw was in actuality the dead victim's body. What? Agent Lane, the entirety of my complete logic is in my final decisive piece of evidence. The murder happened in the hallway of the haunted house at the time of the drop-off. And you can consider the moment I heard the mirror breaking to be the real time of death of Mr. Deacon. No! Maybe it was due to their fighting, or perhaps it was a life-shattering bullet. But no matter what the case was, the hallway mirror was broken.
You were at the house at the time, right? Are you telling me that you missed the sound of a gunshot?
There were a variety of sound effects playing at the time, all for theatrics, I assume. The gunshot must have blended right in. Now then, I'd like you to recall something for me. Who was it that was the victim at the haunted house? Who was the one who had the opportunity to rob the victim of his gun and use it on him? It was you, Lansamano.
Shatter! I'm sorry! It's not like I had a choice. Oliver turned on me all of a sudden. He snapped and turned violent right after I hung up with you. He shoved me in the ground and straddled me. I fought back as hard as I could, grabbed the gun, and I shot him. The bullet must have went through his body and shattered the mirror. If I hadn't taken the gun and shot him first, I would have been the one you found. He's a hardened criminal. He escaped from jail. See, that justifies the self-defense. My boy was only trying to protect himself.
That remains to be seen. It will have to be resolved in court. Agent Lang, I leave the rest to you.
As if you were the one in charge around here. Guys, Arrest these two. Get them out of my sight. Wait! I had nothing to do with the murder! The only person you should be arresting is Lance! Dad! Sorry, but you're not slipping away that easily, Mr. Ernest Amano. You tampered with the evidence so that you could cover for your son. What a great dad you are. Willing to risk it all. Truly touching. By the way, do you know why I'm really here? How could I possibly know the answer to such an asinine question? You ruined me. I came all the way across the sea just to see you, you know. You came to see me? What's that supposed to mean? I have a few things to ask you, Mr. Amano, about the case from 10 years ago. A case from 10 years ago? It is always a case from 10 years ago, guys. You should know. The cold cases. That's where it's at. What's the name that you used for it here for that case? Sheena!
It is known as the KG-8 incident.
The KG-8 incident. Oh, so you remember it. Good. Then you'll recall that the trigger in that case was the Amano Group scandal. Specifically, charge of internal smuggling ring. Smuggling. That's that word again. At the time, the person that was arrested as the ringleader was Mr. Amano's very own secretary, Mr. Colin Deveray. What?
Father?
Even though you pushed the crime onto your then secretary, Mr. Deveray, I always suspected that you were involved in the smuggling ring, Mr. Amano. Mr. Deveray was arrested in your place. Which is why, when he broke out, you hid him from the police, right? You hid him in exchange for his silence on your little dirty secret. No. Please calm down. I honestly have no idea what you're talking about. Pretend to be ignorant all you want. We're taking you down to the precinct anyway for a nice long chat. Huh? Hold it. Who the heck was that? Hey, look who it is. I'll take him down to the precinct if you don't mind. And who the heck are you? I'm Jacques Portsman, and I'm the prosecutor in charge of this case. Oh no! Why is he still in here and not in jail? Or is this in the past? This is before he gets back to his office, right? It's the weird timey-wimey shenanigans. That's what's happening here. The first case where he kills that guy in our office is the present, and then all the cases we've done till now are in the past. In fact, the fourth case that we're gonna do is also in the past. So, it's fine. Oh, Jacques! Thank goodness you're here. Don't jerk me around. This is an Interpol case, so keep your paws off my suspect. Sorry, but I can't comply. I got the backing of the prosecutor's office. See, in this country, we prosecutors work with the police to bring cases to court. So if you please cooperate with me here, that'd be great. Now, how about a handshake to seal the deal? Sorry, but I hate prosecutors and the whole lot of you. Guys, arrest these two suspects. Sir! Oh, I almost forgot. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, is it? I'd like to thank you. Thank me? Yeah, for working so hard to fulfill my goal.
Hey, is that any way to thank someone? What the heck is that supposed to mean?
You were so relentless with Lance that you forced the Ernest to tamper with evidence. Thanks to that, I finally had a legitimate reason to arrest him. So how does it feel to bite the hand that feeds you?
The hand that feeds me. I'm not sure I follow.
No use pretending with me. You're the one, right? You're the corrupt prosecutor that's working for the Amano and smuggling ring, right? No, it's the other guy!
No, I would never do such a thing.
What the heck? Our intel's never wrong. In your prosecutor's office, there's definitely someone working with the ring.
Ah, so Agent Lane suspects my relation to Mr. Amano. That must be the real reason behind his antagonistic attitude.
Top of that, your mentor was Manfred von Karma, right? Okay, that's fair. There were non-stop rumors flying about the forged evidence with that guy. You're not twisting the truth behind those closed courtroom doors, too, are you?
The courtroom is a place where truth is revealed.
Well, don't worry. It's not only you. A whole lot of you can't be trusted. Prosecutor who's never lost in 40 years. Every defendant must be found guilty. Fueled by that kind of thinking. Is it any wonder that the courts produced nothing but falsities and lies?
It would seem that his disdain extends beyond just me.
You were the protege of Tayson Tamper McKee, right?
Prosecutors, the court. Why is this man so angry at us all?
Rest assured, the next time we meet, I won't be so forgiving.
I like the joint point.
So don't you forget it.
Please, wait. Agent Sheena. Why does Agent Lane hate all prosecutors so?
Lane is the head of a long-honored house Lang in Zenfa. The heads of the police-related divisions in that country were of Lang blood.
Where? What do you mean by that? Aren't they still?
They were revered, but that was long ago. They don't hold that sort of sway anymore. And it is because of the courts.
How can that be?
A prosecutor once withheld and tampered with evidence of one of Lane's detectives found. The evidence purity was tarnished, and the cost of the Lane family, its honor and trust.
But not all prosecutors are like that.
Even so, Lane will never respect the court again, or any prosecutor.
So Agent Lane is a man who hates all the courts, and is unwilling to forgive prosecutors.
Man, what a piece of work that guy is. Come on, Jim! We better catch up before I kill you. Yeah. We still gotta deliver that thing to the old man, after all.
Yeah, because the guy with him was the victim from the first case, so. Detective Gumshoe, I believe it is time we wrapped up and headed out ourselves.
Yeah. Are you going home, Mr. Edgeworth?
No, I've done nothing but be entangled in one mess or another after another since my return. If it's all right with you, can you drop me off at my office? Definitely nothing untoward is going to happen when I get there.
No problem, sir.
Excuse me.
Yes, what is it?
That is... Thank you very much.
Aw, it's okay. No need to thank me, pal. Just doing my job as a detective.
I guess I was fooled pretty badly by Lance. Oh, cruel fate! What's a love to do when she's been hurt by the one she loves?
What's a love to do? No, what's a woman to do, Katie? Come on. Gumshoe was dealing with Kay being a better assistant immediately. Yeah.
And to think, I never realized that my father was right there. I never said anything to him. I knew it. I'm I'm a failure.
Ah, there she goes again, talking to herself.
Miss Pops, I wonder if you know why your father participated in the kidnapping.
No, I have no idea.
Your father died while he was trying to stop Lance, which means that from the beginning he had no interest in the stage self-abduction.
Wait, then why did he...
I believe it was because of your presence, Miss Pops.
Me?
Lance realized that the two of you were related, which is why he used you as a hostage to coerce Mr. Deveray to cooperate.
Father?
As a felon, he could not tell you his real relation to you. However, as the Amano family butler, at the very least, he was able to watch over you. It was all he could do, but that was the shape of his overflowing love for you. Aw, that was nice of Edgeworth, and feels a little out of character for him to go that far, but it was pretty cool of him nonetheless. Go on, speak your mind.
That is... Thank you very much.
You are welcomed. Although, there is no need to thank me.
Oh, no, Lauren, stop. I mean, this man's so much older than you.
Is he, though?
Looks like you've completely stolen her away, Mr. Edgeworth.
Way to go, sir.
Your technique is way beyond the level of a great thief.
Oh, what are you going on about now? Guys, you gotta go easy on Edgeworth. He doesn't understand what he's doing.
Wow, your deducing skills may be sound, but you have no street smarts.
That's Mr. Edgeworth for you.
Yeah, I mean, he still hasn't figured out who I am at all. If you haven't remembered it in all this time, I guess I'm just gonna have to say it. This isn't the first time we've met, you know?
What do you mean, pal? Mr. Edgeworth? How do you know this girl?
Looks like you totally forgot me too, Gummy.
Gummy?
Here, maybe this will jog your memory. I promised I'd return this to you one day, remember?
That single piece of cloth took me back far into my past, to that fateful day 7 years ago, when I first met the then child Kay and Detective Gumshoe. The end. Hey, we did it! We finished the kidnap turnabout. Oh, I wasn't... Okay, you know, it's fine. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely where I stop. I might have pushed myself a little too hard, but I wanted to finish this case. So we did it! Alright. Next time, we will dive into the flashback case that happened. It'd be hilarious for the rest of the game if you stayed on that 1 pip of HP. God, I'm glad that they give it back to me. I forgot they didn't refill it between the things, so that's really funny. This game's tutorial starts and you go back in time, then go forward in time, but not when the tutorial is at, which is during the part when Edgeworth remembers even further in the past. Yeah, the timeline of this is kind of shenanigan-y. But then we'll go back to the present in the last case. So I think, yes, for sure. But yes, I need to rest my voice and my jaw, which isn't doing too bad, but I don't want to aggravate it any further. So, good night, folks. I'll talk to you again later.